Long after the creation of the Giant's Causeway, with its 5, 6, and 7-sided rocks, northern Europe was gripped by the Ice Age, 4 ice ages in fact. It was during these ice ages that the beautiful contours of the glens of Antrim were carved by large glaciers, pushing their way across the land. Indeed, the remnants of these giant movements can still be seen today atop Tibulia and Lurig overlooking Cushendall, where large boulders sit, literally tossed there over time by the powerful movement of the glaciers. Until about 12,000 BC, Ireland, like the rest of northern Europe, was actually joined physically together by ice. Around 8,000 BC, however, as the ice melted and the seas rose, some Mesolithic peoples migrated across the narrow North Channel from mainland Europe into Scotland. From these migrants came Ireland's first inhabitants, who are thought to have come across the Sea of Moyle to the north coast here, a distance of 12 miles at its closest point. These peoples eventually settled in coastal locations, such as here at Whitepark Bay, or up inland waterways like the settlement on the River Bann known as Sandal Fort in Coleraine, which is thought to be the earliest inhabited site in Ireland. At this time, the island was covered by dense woods and populated by wolves, wild boar, and other dangerous creatures. Therefore, early settlers found it much more hospitable in the coastal areas and in the estuaries of coastal rivers. Apart from ease of access around the coast and inland by river, life flourished due to the large stocks of fish, particularly the local revered salmon. A creature steeped in myth and legend since early times and obviously key in nutritional terms. The fishing and hunting opportunities provided these early pioneers with a rich diet and ensured a stable population from which the Neolithic way of life was to grow. In historical terms, the Neolithic period starts at about 3,500 BC. These were the first farmers growing crops, domesticating animals, and using more sophisticated stone tools than their predecessors. Porcelainite, a versatile and sharp form of flint, was mined in flint factories on Rathlin Island and also on Tibulia, the mountain above Cushendall. It's thought that these early people traded porcelainite and other goods with seafarers a lot earlier than is commonly thought, as pieces of flint originating from these very factories on Rathlin and from Tibulia have been found as far afield as the eastern Mediterranean. It was also during the Neolithic period that a clearance of the thick forest covering most of the country began, this to create fields for farming and areas for settlements to be developed. Over the following 3,000 years, a whole succession of colonizing invasions took place, bringing with them mature cultures and societies, evidence of which is still visible in the Irish countryside today. Thousands of megalithic tombs, literally built with great stones, are still to be found throughout Ireland, the most famous being Newgrange, over 40 feet high and covering more than an acre, oriented so that sunlight penetrates to the inner chamber only on the days of the winter solstice. The social complexity and planning required to create such elaborate structures is clear, and those who built them must have had sophisticated laws, religion, and societies. Above, to the right, there is an entrance to what is thought to have been an early chambered grave. These are also sometimes referred to as dolmens, and would be the resting place of the most influential members of that society. Perched up in high places, in order to bring their ancestors closer to creation, they are a reminder of a more advanced aspect of early societies, given their solid construction, careful astral alignments, and significant role within early society. Without a written language, however, their history is lost to us, apart from the silent evidence of their monuments. From these we can see that they were expert miners, metal workers, builders, and traders, a rich mixture of peoples and cultures covering more than 20 centuries.